Hey San Antonio, this is Rob for the MetalWorks. Tonight I am at the Sunset Station, and it brings me esteemed pleasure to welcome a musician, artist, poet, author, true Renaissance man of the new millennium. I have with me Mr. Henry Rollins. How you doing, Henry?
Oh, fine, thanks.
It's good to have you in the Alamo City, and welcome to Rob's MetalWorks.
Oh, thank you, man. My first time.
Yes, hopefully the first of many.
Okay.
There's so much to talk about with you, Henry. I don't even know where to start, but let's start a little bit about why you're here in SA today. I think more and more music fans, should I say, are becoming associated with Henry Rollins more on the spoken word side, because it seems like that's what you've been keeping yourself busy with, and getting a lot more, should I say, publicity with as of late. Talk a little bit about when you officially started doing your spoken word work and why you started doing it.
Okay, I started doing talking shows about 20 years ago, about 21 years ago actually. And in the beginning, I would open for local Los Angeles poets, because that's where I was living. And I'd read stuff I had written, tell stories, a little bit of on my feet commentary, editorializing. And several shows into that, the local poets were opening for me, which they didn't appreciate. And then by 85, I was doing cross-country tours on my own, drawing 12 to 50 people. And from there, it kind of got bigger. I started going to Europe, Australia, New Zealand. And the shows started taking on, no paper really, just me up there spewing, telling stories, letting it rip, so to speak. And as I got older and my, quote, demographic got older, as our knees started hurting more, I found that the talking shows started to draw more. Even in the Black Flag days, I could outdraw Black Flag in some cities just on my own. Just I think the nature of the performance, you're not going to get leveled by the stage. It's kind of a sit-down affair. And maybe on a Wednesday night in a major city, someone of my age who usually has a sliver of the energy, that they have time for. You say to someone past a certain age on a Wednesday night, go out to a gig, they've been working all day. They're like, they have to get up at 8, or earlier. Mm-hmm. And so I think over the years, the demographic has kind of shifted. The attendance for the shows increases every year, which is, it's great. It's what you want. I've never quite been able to figure it out, but I'm astounded and as any performer, really overjoyed that people care at all,
Talk a little bit about there'll be some fans, hopefully tonight, who are going to catch your show for the first time. What can people who want to see a Henry Rollins spoken word show expect?
Well, I tell a lot of stories, from firsthand. I'm not going to say, well, I heard that. I'll tell you what a country's like from having walked through it. And I often get myself into unorthodox situations on purpose. Like I audition for a movie I wouldn't necessarily go see, but if I get the part, I know I'm going to get such a good story from it, and it's so totally insane to be in that place. A wise ass like me is easily going to come out with a story it's at least going to make you laugh or keep your attention for 15 minutes. And coming from the minimum wage working world into music, and then kind of sneaking into other venues, Hollywood, little TV, little voiceover, still with this kind of like attitude. It just lends itself to a good story if you know how to tell a good story. And so there's that. And what I go for is this kind of a brutal honesty that's not always appealing, where I look bad by being honest, because I don't paint myself as good in the story. If I sucked, I'll tell you. You'll know. And I think knowing that I'm not, at the end of the day, I'm not an evil person. Like, I don't want to hurt your kid. I don't want to firebomb your house or rob a bank or rape or stab anyone. So knowing that at the end of the day, I'm no worse than anybody out there, I can kind of go with no restraint. Because at the end of the day, I want you to have a nice, good life and live long, and you live in America. and so you are my fellow countrymen. So in a way, we're neighbors already. And since you're a human being, I don't want you dead. we're cool. And so with that basic mindset, I just go. And if I say something politically intense that you disagree with, at least my opinion is informed. I just don't go, just broad stroking with black and white paint. I do my reading, or I go to the source. So if I say Bush did something that made me angry, I can quote him, and I can go, well, look at the record. Oh, you can't rip on him. Yes, I can, because look who he elected to do this. Look at this. So, he'll show it to you. It's from his file. And so if you want to argue about it, fine. But you can go argue with the numbers. There's no argument with me. It's just an opinion I have about the numbers or the stats or whatever. And there again, I do a lot of traveling outside of America. And there's always a story. As soon as you leave the confines of America, there's stories aplenty out there. And there's great stories in America. We're an amazing country, and we're a great nation. And there's just you meet a lot of great spirits here in America. We're good people. So there's always a good story to tell. And being an American, we're an opinionated, loud bunch. It's cool. And that's perfect for a wise ass with a microphone let loose on stage, and that's me. And so I love doing these tours. They're not easy because it's not all scripted. I mean, I kind of know what I'm going to talk about. I bring some notes on stage, but they're basically buoys in the dark sea. I'm like, okay, from this I'm going to kind of get to that. How I'm going to get to that, we'll see as it comes out of my mouth. And every night, the take on the thing changes. But I've got a few essential big themes I'm going to be jamming off of on this tour, like some recent trips I took, some things that just happened in the news. Obviously, the war in Iraq, anti-Taliban, fighting in Afghanistan, having just been there. And I'm kind of involved with the USO now, so I've been able to travel with the military and go to some pretty intense environments. Afghanistan was pretty mind-blowing. It was a pretty eye-opening experience, and you see what, we're doing a lot of good stuff out there, and you also see that the American military is completely unbeatable. You might kill a few, but you're going to lose. I mean, at the end of the day, someone should let the Taliban know. You're not going to win this one. And I'm not some tough guy trying to say, oh yeah, but I've seen what I've seen, and that's just my take on it. You see these young men and women thoroughly trained, focused on one little spot. Their mission is to, that much of the sky they guard 12 hours a day. If you fly through it, you're going to get, and you're not supposed to, you're going to get blown up efficiently, quickly, with zero hesitation. I found myself asking some of the guys, I'm going to talk about it tonight, I found myself asking some of the guys at the Bagram Air Base in Afghanistan, I said, do the bad guys really know what they're up against? And they're like, well, we don't know. I said, someone should tell them. Someone really should break it to them gently, or maybe not so gently. They should just cool it. So there's always a lot of stories. There's always a lot to talk about. And hopefully, my aim is to do it in such a way that for 2 hours, you don't feel how numb your ass is getting in your seat. I mean, that's the best compliment I get is, you were on stage for, you said goodnight, I thought, what a rip-off, 35 minutes. And then I looked at my watch, it had been like 2 hours. And that's as good as it gets, where I took that time and just, where you're like, whoa. It was over so quickly because it was, I kept you, and to do that takes a lot of energy to kind of keep you from looking from side to side. It drains me inversely. I feel, if there are 500 people in here tonight, I feel beat up 500 times just keeping all of them. So these tours are, luckily it's only one show a day. If I did this 2 times in a day, I think my brain would leak out of my ears.